Hey, it's the Nivs here. Thank you very much for watching. Before we continue, hit that like button and please do subscribe. Really important. But I suppose the most important thing is that notification bell. Hit that as well and get all the latest videos as and when. New thing, shout out central. This is for people who do leave comments on my videos. Now, if I've missed anybody out, I apologise, but check out these channels out if you've not checked them out already. Just look up them on YouTube and make your own mind up. I think they're all pretty good. Anyway, let's carry on. This was an episode I was really looking forward to. To be honest with you, I'm a big fan of the Ice Warrior and the Ice Warrior stories. Couple of great shots there of NASA, but this is just the geek in me, I suppose. But does anybody know if this is a set that they built especially for the episode, or is it an existing set they've used elsewhere? It does look familiar. Not sure if they used it in the Matt Smith area as well, but it just looks familiar. Also, the geek in me quite likes the shots as well. The TARDIS exterior sort of flying through, or spinning through space to its destination. I don't know. It's just me. I just get a bit of a fuzzy feeling when I see that. So here we are. We've arrived at Mars, 1881, and there's a couple of moments here in the episode where I quite like the fact that Bill's trying to educate the Doctor into watching films like in this particular scene here, The Terminator. I do quite like that, but that's just me. We got classic Bill showing she's not as thick as other previous companions, if you like. Where there's oxygen, there's fire. And then obviously Nardole taking off his helmet. The Doctor's pretty peeved about that, but Nardole saying, where there's fire, there's oxygen. Basic physics. Well, it could have been a very basic death. Brilliant. So Bill has fallen down what I can only describe as a medium-sized hole. Yep. Anyway, one thing I am saying about this episode at the moment is that I'm loving the fact that it's all interior. Don't get me wrong, I do like the fact that they go on location from time to time and film outside studio atmosphere, but going back to the atmosphere, I find that it's more Doctor Who when it's all interior, all inside sets, especially things like caves. It just reminds me of the classic era of Who, but that's just my opinion. What do you think about that? Anyway, let's carry on. Right, an intriguing part of this story. So, as the Doctor tells Nardole to go and get some ropes and gear, etc., obviously runs to the TARDIS, but the TARDIS does something it has done before, but why is it doing it? Decides to, basically just take off on its own. Now, we like I said, we all know the TARDIS can do this, but what was the purpose of this? Even Nardole's like, what the hell's going on here? TARDIS takes off now. I'll just a little bit of insight into myself. When I was very, very young and Doctor Who was still on the air, Peter Davidson was when I first started watching it and got introduced to it. I was fascinated, not having seen the show, by the fact that the TARDIS taking off and landing the way it materialises and dematerialises, I found was fascinating when I was a kid. And that's really what got me into watching the show on a permanent basis. And anyway, let's carry on. We get our first look at the Ice Warriors here, and they've called him Friday. Brilliant name. This is fantastic now. If whoever created this and whose bright idea this was, if Victorians ever discovered space travel and they needed suits, this would be it. It's fantastic. Great bit of costume design. Brilliant. Anyway, we meet this guy. Also in the scene, Ferdinand Kingsley, who has a very famous dad, who is this guy, Ben Kingsley. There you go, you learn something new every day. So, while the Doctor is actually meeting Friday and also Victorian soldiers who seem to be keeping Friday as their accomplice is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, Nardole is having a few issues with the TARDIS itself. Won't seem to take off. We don't know why. We've established that it's landed back in its original position, back in the Doctor's office. So Nardoldy takes it upon himself to go to the vault to ask for advice from a certain individual. Now, my question to you is this: who or what is making the TARDIS not being able to take off? Is the TARDIS doing it on purpose? Is the TARDIS trying to get Nardole to ask for Missy's help? Or is Missy somehow manipulating the TARDIS from inside the vault? Answers on a postcard, or just leave a comment below. So we've got another great looking set here, and this is obviously the Victorian Army's base camp. Now, I didn't notice this at first, but if you look over there at the far left, yep, just over there, in my Doctor Who Next Time trial out video, I actually thought, without looking at it closely, I thought this was probably a Victorian nurse or something. I'm laughing at it now. But yeah, watch that back and listen to what I said about it. And I didn't actually zoom in. But now, watching it, we've established that, once again, Doctor Who's continuity is good. They didn't actually recast the character. They kept Queen Victoria, as seen here, the creator of Torchwood. Interesting fact. So I'm guessing that this episode in particular is set before the time Dr. Ten and Rose meet Victoria and get knighted, because these soldiers have no idea who the Doctor is. The name doesn't even ring a bell. So as the Queen Victoria created Torch, you'd like to think that their army would know about the Doctor. So I'm guessing this is set pre that episode. But thinking about it, if Torchwood was meant to be a secret society, a secret organisation, should I say, then would the British Army know about it? Anyway, I'm really confusing myself here and confusing you, so should we just crack on with it and just let me stop talking? Thank you. Mark Gatiss has definitely done his research here. As we can see in this scene, there's plenty of food and drink and cake and everything on the table. But it was well known during this time, during the Victorian era, where when rations were low, but not for the higher ranking officers or the other basic soldiers. The run of the mill military had no or very little rations, where the top brass, if the captains, the generals, had as much as they could eat or drink. So well done on the writing. Atmospherically, the episode was brilliant. I mean, I've said it before. The mining equipment that they're using, it's a great bit of special effects, great bit of tech, blowing things up to try and do some mining. But obviously Mars is dead. Now, I want to explain one particular bit. When they're talking about what's on the planet, there's no mining, there's no minerals. One of the soldiers says, yeah, there's sweet Fanny Adams here. So to try and swear without actually swearing, you get sweet Fanny Adams, which basically means sweet FA. Okay, but your Fanny Adams, or you can add whatever you want on, beginning with the words F and A. So you take away the sweet, which basically means pure, to leave FA. Now that FA, without swearing, means, well, basically this. So you got sweet FA. So you replace FA with Fanny Adams, but basically he's basically saying there's nothing there. Okay? So all my friends on there who don't live in the UK and don't know what he was on about saying sweet Fanny Adams, you do now. There you go. This is a bit of a school lesson today for you all, isn't it? Leave your comments below. Some of the scenes in the episode were just fantastic. I mean, some of the screenshots that I'm doing here were just a couple of my little favourite little bits. For example, you've got the Ice Queen, if you like, here. The battle scene between the British soldiers and the Ice Warriors as well. I thought it was just well done. The whole episode, I just thought, was actually well done. The scenery, the sets that they used, I mean, I don't know where, I'm guessing these were all done in Cardiff, but like I said earlier on in the video, I thought that the fact that it was all enclosed in sort of one set, it was mainly one set that was used for the entire episode, and some of the CGI that they did use was used well and not overused, if you know what I mean. I felt this bit was quite political as well, bringing what's going on in present day around the world at the moment. A poignant moment, really, in this episode, that two factions, two different species, can actually live together and work together. Which, like I said, with things that are going on in the world today, I thought it was a good message for everybody to see, really. Even the end of the episode, it worked well. The ending of the episode didn't feel rushed. There was messages for the viewers that we could all live together, and I think that was just the outlook of the entire story, really. And then we got the eye people from Alpha Centauri, brilliant. And then we find out that the reason that they're in the future in the first place went to Mars was because of the message they actually left. So it was them that left the original message for them to go there in the first place. Time travel, you gotta love it. Anyway, that brings us to the final moment of the episode. With Missy's help, Nodal actually gets the TARDIS back to Mars. And I just love it. It's the fact that she's peeping around as if to say, I don't think he's going to be happy to see me. And you're right, he's not happy. And I think he's more cheesed off with Nardole than he is the fact that Missy's on board his TARDIS. But this is an interesting part. Now, we've all read that the regeneration of Peter Capaldi is going to be very, very, very different to what's ever been seen before. Now, Missy's obviously sensing something is wrong with the Doctor. And she's looking him up and down, but what could this be? Could this be the start? So we're all done. Like this video, subscribe to this video, and click the notifications bell. Questions, your homework for today then, kiddies, is this. Who was controlling the TARDIS? Was it Missy? Was it the TARDIS controlling herself? We just don't know. What do you think is the matter with the Doctor? What has Missy sniffed using her super senses that she's detecting is an issue with the Doctor in some way? What do you think that could be? Is it a ploy? We do know that the regeneration is going to be completely different, like I said. So could this be the start of it? Could this be some kind of thing? I don't know. Talking. It's Sunday. I'm going to have a few drinks this afternoon and get ready for work. I will see you probably tomorrow with my Doctor Who Next Time trailer breakdown for episode 10. And I'm going to leave you with this piece of music because we lost a great sci-fi actor. Well, I say sci-fi cult actor in Adam West recently. So leave you with this. Take care, guys, and I will speak to you probably tomorrow. Please don't forget to subscribe.